Coffee, world's favorite fruit. Hey everybody, welcome to this video. Welcome to my channel. And what I'm talking to you about today is for those of you that don't have area level training and want to stay safe in the mountains. How do you stay safe without really getting into all of the avalanche training and gear and such that can get expensive? I want to show you some tools that you can use without having to take the training. And just before I do that, I'm a huge advocate for the training. Training is wonderful if you can afford it, if you can get in, and if you really want to start adventuring in the backcountry in the winter and early spring. I highly recommend you take that area level classes. But with that said, there are some things you can do without taking the class that can keep you safe and comfortable with the route selections that you have in mind for the winter. So with that, I wanted to show you really just two tools. The first tool I use year-round, and that is CalTopo.com. It's free. And if we want to go into CalTopo, I'm going to show you a couple of different ideas around Mount Rainier. And let's go into Paradise, which is a fabulous area on a good weather day if you can get up. They open up the road. And if you go up, there's lots of trails to choose from. And if you just look at CalTopo here, you really can't tell, which of these routes are safe, which ones have avalanche concerns, and so it's really not that helpful. If you're very sophisticated here with reading contours and such, you can kind of see that the close together contour lines are a concern. But even then, is that an avalanche slope? Are these ones where the contour lines are not that close? Is that an avalanche slope? I don't know. But there's a great trick in CalTopo. And if you go over to map overlays, this slope angle shading button, clicking that, and you get the whole color scheme. You get all these colors to light up in CalTopo. And basically these colors show different angle shadings. The basic takeaway, without getting into more sophistication as to which angles are worse than others, is that really any angle here is a concern that you should have. And if you want to stay safe away from avalanche, you just generally avoid any of those colored areas. It's as simple as that. There's two things with that though. One is going through. So here's an example of the Skyline Trail going through an area that's all colored. And with these colors, that basically says you're going to traverse across an Abbey slope on this trail. So generally speaking, if you're worried about avalanches on that day, this would probably not be the safest route decision you can make. And if you're going out, you wanted to go out this way and you had the choice of the Skyline Trail through here or the Golden Gate Trail through there, the Golden Gate Trail looks pretty safe and benign going out this way. And I would say it's true up until you get to this steep slope where it switchbacks and gets, again, traverses across a big Abbey slope up here to gain the ridge. So again, here's an Abbey area that you would walk through if you were to go through there. But also even underneath with a big slope like this, if there was an avalanche, a larger avalanche, that would slide down and potentially take you with it. And so again, either going through a colored area like this, or if you were to travel underneath one of those zones, those are the risk factors that you need to be concerned about from an avalanche perspective. Another route, it's probably safer, and this is actually a really popular route for people because almost on any given day it's a good route to go on. Leaving the Paradise area and taking the Lower Lakes Trail, which is just beyond on the east side of the park, or the east side of the parking lot. You can go down, and as you can see, it avoids almost all the avalanche terrain. It has a little section here where it's a little steep, but it's very small, and I will tell you, because it's in the trees and it's heavily treed there, those trees will protect you from any kind of avalanche areas. So just take that for what it's worth. But traveling down through here, you can stay safe in a way, and you can actually travel quite far on snowshoes here. You can travel all the way down to Reflection Lakes and you can go around. Again, lots of trees down here, so avalanche concern is not as great when it's highly treed, as long as there's not a huge as long as there's no Abbey shoots or anything like that that crosses your trail, you're pretty solid from a safety perspective and avoiding an avalanche. So that is that. The other tool is helpful to know is just what overall, what is the relative risk of avalanche for a particular zone you're in. So for us in the Pacific Northwest, we use the Northwest Avalanche Center. If you're in a different part of the world, you would use your local avalanche centers. So NWAC.us for us in the Pacific Northwest. And you can see it gives you by zone, large zones, what the relative avalanche risks are. If you scroll down here, you can see the danger scale is anywhere from green, which is low, to extreme, which is 5. You notice that there's always some risk of avalanche. And so again, this is just very general, just to kind of give you a kind of where things are generally speaking. Anywhere, I would say 1 or 2 is generally okay to go out and not be too concerned about avalanche. 3 for me, 3 is something that I would be much more concerned about going into an avalanche zone on. Probably would not do it or try to avoid it at all costs. Be very cautious about that. And then 4 or 5, really, those are really dangerous zones for me. And generally, I probably would just avoid any kind of avalanche terrain, period, in these sections. And I might even just decide not just to stay home, because not only do I have to worry about the trail, but if the road goes underneath avalanche zones, whether I'm unlikely to be caught in it, but it could seal me in and cause inconvenience getting back home, or even getting out to the objective to begin with at the trailhead. So generally speaking, 4 or 5 is way too high for me. 3, I'll go out with into the backcountry as long as I was avoiding avalanche areas. And then 1 or 2, I really wouldn't have too much concern. So, but that just tells me what it is today, and you should check that in the morning before you head out if it's a day adventure. But say, you want to plan with your friends tomorrow, you can go and click on a zone and then go down and see what it says here from Thursday to Friday. Note you'll have a lot more information. I won't go over that here in this short video. And just generally speaking, what is it doing tomorrow? And in this particular case, Thursday to Friday, the levels stay the same. Here, if you checked Friday and it was extreme, you know that there's a significant weather event that's causing that to happen. And so you'd want to adjust your plans the day before in case you were thinking about going into an avalanche zone. So that's it. So hopefully that's helpful. It should be. It gives you a lot more data than if you weren't using these types of tools, and it also gives you more confidence that you're making good, safe decisions for you and your friends and family when you go out in the mountains. So big proponent of the ARI class. So hopefully you can take that at some point in the future if you really wanted to get into this kind of stuff. But until then, certainly these tools are available to you and easy enough for everyone to use before they go out in the mountains. So highly recommend them. I really appreciate your support, and also if you like and comment this particular video, it helps the algorithm out, pushes us out to more people to help them educate themselves, again, without having to take a higher level class. So with that, always have fun, and more importantly, stay safe out there. Take care. Peace.